What's going on, YouTube? My name is Skill37. Today's review, I'm going to be reviewing on the 3DS Bravely Default. I downloaded this off the Nintendo store, and my voice sounds really bad. It's because I just recovered from just being really fucking sick. It sucked, and yeah, I hate winter. So let's talk about Bravely Default. I'm going to do my best to review this game because there's a lot to talk about, and halfway through, I'm gonna tell you, spoiler alert, that if you don't want to hear the spoilers as to why the game started going downhill for me, you need to, I'll tell you when to click out the video. But I need to include spoilers in this review to help you understand why the game went downhill halfway through. So let's talk about what this is all about. Bravely Default, and the name's completely based on the game's combat system, is a spin-off of the Final Fantasy series and the Final Fantasy III's Warriors of Light concept. It is a fantastic game, a fantastic tribute to what RPGs used to be, and it's all in the palm of your hand. If you have not played Final Fantasies 1 through 6, and you're not familiar with the Warriors of Light storyline, if you've played 7, 8, and 9, and you're very familiar with the gameplay of traveling the world, you have an open map, you have towns, gearing up in a town, going to the next dungeon, that's all right here in the palm of your hand. It's great. I really love how they just got that old school feeling right in the palm of your hand. It's just, you go from one town to the next, upgrade your gear, rest at the inn, buy the latest magic equipment, you progress to the store, go to the next dungeon, rinse, repeat, go to different parts of the world, eventually you get your airship, blah, blah, blah. Very old school. For those who have been looking for a game like that and don't want nothing with all the loopholes and it plays like this but it's too much like this, if you want something that's really fucking old school, that really feels like you're playing an original Final Fantasy game, then look no further than Bravely Default. The game features everything that made older games popular and features a modern combat system that takes everything that was awesome about turn-based back in the day and gives it some new finesse that just makes it feel like it's brand new, but it's not. It's fucking awesome. So let's talk about why it's a spin-off of the Warriors of Light. It's you got 4 characters in this game, each with 4 different backgrounds. You got Tiz the country boy, Adia the I'm better than you bitch. You got Ring a Bell, the I love titties guy. I fucking love this guy. He's every chance he gets gets just to talk. This guy's always talking about women. I'm like, this is hilarious. And then he looks like a pretty boy. That really adds to him. And then you have Agnes, the I believe everything people tell me. And she's like the ultimate, she's the main character. The game's about her, but the main character's Tiz. But the game's still about her. And she's so fucking, like, annoying. She's like, oh my God, we gotta revive the crystals. It's just like, bitch. But other than that, that's what makes the game good, because that's how RPGs used to be back in the day. You had several characters, each with completely different backgrounds. All the characters, excuse me, with the exception of one, Adia, don't really have background in fighting. And now these 4 people are about to become the Warriors of Light, Saviors of the Earth. The game also follows a very old school alternate universe kind of thing going on. And the alternate universe story does work until you get halfway through the game, and that's when the game started going downhill for me, because the developer decided to abuse this concept, and instead of just giving us more things to enjoy, there was a lot of rinse repeat nonsense. So let's talk about the things like the combat system, the couple online features, and then we'll talk about what makes the game so awesome. Excuse me, I'm still recovering. Fuck. So the combat system is very simple. Okay, you're gonna be using these a lot. Default is block, and Brave is advanced in a sense. And when a fight starts, you have 0, 0, 0, 0, and you can in this game basically advance your turn to do lots of abilities and skills, but you won't get to act until those recharge. Every turn you get a point back. So let's say you want to build up points, you block. So you default, you block, and you build up points. If you're feeling ballsy, or you need to make several moves at once, let's say you're a white mage and 2 people in your group die. So you got a choice. You can just, start over, or you can wait till you get your big cure, or you can just brave it out and advance 3 turns, cast 2 raids in a row, and a Kiraga, And now you can't use that white mage for 3 turns to her 3 points reset. And the other characters, whatever they had, when they get revived, that's what they got. So that's why it's called the brave system, because you are taking a risk. So it really works. Like what I like to typically do is, and as soon as a fight starts, if I know the enemy's tough, I'll brave a couple, I'll default a couple times, and I'll use one of my characters to weaken my enemy, and then I'll take my DPS characters and I'll brave the shit out of them, and then I'll fucking just go off the hook and just destroy everything on my fucking screen. But there's a risk. If I don't kill everything on my screen and I wasted all my braves, I went to the maximum amount of braves, I can't use those 2 characters. I just used to whip some serious ass for 4 fucking turns. So it's a nice system. It works. Once you play, the gameplay feels old school with the default and brave concept. It allows you to really get into the game. It allows for really fast-paced combat. You can if you really learn the system and you really abuse the job system and you learn the ins and outs of the game, you can actually just cheese the entire fucking game. Like there's videos of people doing 9999999 damage constantly, like in 1 turn, 99999, beating everything in the game like nothing. But that's through a lot of dedication, a lot of studying, and a lot of EXPing and lots of different jobs and getting the best combinations possible. But it's a fun game. So, what's up with the job system? The game features all the jobs in the Final Fantasy series. Not all of them, but pretty much a large amount that made the series famous. There's quite a few. I think there's almost 20? That's a lot. As you progress through the main story and do side quests, you'll come across bosses. And when you beat the bosses, you unlock their asterisks. One of the first few bosses you beat is a white mage and a monk. And then, of course, you unlock the asterisks. So, you get to become a monk or a white mage. And you have 4 characters in the game, each have their own main levels, and each have their own levels for the jobs they're leveling up. You can mix and match. So you got, let's say you want a really badass Dark Knight. Like I like to use Dark Knight. I had to go and level up my Red Mage, my Ninja, my Ranger to get the most out of my one Dark Knight. So if my Dark Knight's my main job, I made Ninja his sub job, and then through all the other jobs I leveled up, I can equip a set amount of extra abilities from other jobs. By the time you get far in the game, you can have a total of 5 extra skills from other jobs. So you can have your main job, your sub job, and skills from other jobs. And different skills cost different amount of points, so you have a total of 5 points once you get to the end of the game. Pretty much very self-explanatory, but very deep. Because there's so many fucking jobs and so many things to mess around with, the possibilities are really endless. Now, what's bad about this is that a lot of people on the internet found ways to really abuse this system, and there's pretty much, even though there's so many jobs and so many possibilities, it's just hard to resist the almighty perfect combination that everyone's just leeching off each other. I've done it with my Dark Knight ridiculous, and my Dark Knight can do 99999 constantly. It's cheesy as fuck, but it's fun. So as you progress through the story, you're gonna really enjoy the concept of beating bosses, going to the next town, restocking on your supplies, go to the next dungeon, just rinse repeat, very old school. So what's not to like about this game? This is where the spoilers start happening. If you do not want to hear anymore, just click out the video or like or whatever, comment at least. But here's where things start going downhill. This is a lot of spoilers. The point of this game is to revive the crystals. You're taking Agnes on a little pilgrimage to save the world from darkness. And supposedly she has to awaken these 4 crystals. When you awaken these 4 crystals, you get sent to a different world in a different dimension. So your little fairy partner's like, oh shit, fuck, we gotta start over. So okay, you do it one time. You're not really bothered by it. You get more side quests, which is cool. You get to fight the bosses the previous bosses you just beat, but they're harder now, and you have to fight the 4 bosses that protect the crystals again. Cool. The next chapter, you get sent to a different world. And your fairy tells you gotta fucking do the 4 crystals again. So now at this point, you're kind of like, what the fuck? So now, you got more side quests, but the side quests ultimately just find the same bosses you just beat and the same fucking 4 guardians of the fucking 4 crystals. So you do it again. Then again. Then again. Then one more fucking time. As you progress, all the bosses get harder. And the bosses you've been beating over and over and over and over and over, you just start fighting them in just groups now. Now, you beat the bosses to get better gear, more experience, more job points, fine. But why in the fuck must I fight the same 4 guardians like 5, 6 times to do the same fucking revive the crystal process. It's 8 chapters. 1 through 5 are fucking cool. No, 1 through 4 are great. 5, 6, 7, 8 are just like, why? It's such bullshit. It was annoying. I had to force myself to play it. I was getting annoyed. I had a badass team. Everyone's maxed out. I had the best gear in the game. I'm like level fucking 75. Excuse me. And by the time I get to the final boss, I'm kind of bored already. Because I was forced to fight the same fucking bosses over and over. It was annoying as shit. So I get to the final boss. Now the game speeds up again. The pacing's back on track. It no longer sucks. And I beat the sub boss that led to the boss, and I got to a new environment, and I actually beat the game. And I was like, all right, cool, good. Couldn't I just have went to that final segment after like chapter 5 or 6? Like, I don't mind doing the revival of the crystals once, to add a little, backtrack and fight the previous boss again. Not 5, 6 fucking times. And then the characters, what they say, as far as when you go to the crystal and they go, oh my god, watch out, he's coming. And then when you beat the bosses, I need rest before we go to the next crystal. They say the exact same shit as if they haven't done this like 7 fucking times. So there was like, was there like a budget issue? Was there a lack of direction? Was there like a rock, paper, scissors contest? Where it was like, okay, we're gonna make the fans go through shit like 7 fucking times. Like, I don't understand. The game was fucking great the first 25 hours. Then the next 20 hours are fucking horrible. It took me like 50 hours to beat this game. It's a long fucking game. This is a long game. It was worth the $40. I admit it was worth the $40. But that pacing was great. It was phenomenal. I was having a blast. I was fucking hyped as fuck about this game. Bam! All of a sudden, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Fighting the same fucking bosses for 20 hours. I was like, dude. I got to the point. Where I put the Game Boy down. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go something else. I was annoying as shit. So that was pretty much my biggest gripe with the game. Excellent characters, excellent art style, excellent graphics for a Game Boy game, amazing combat. The game was beautiful. It was just drawn out. So like, it was just drawn out for no fucking reason. It was annoying. Shit. Excuse me. So about the online capabilities. There's a point in the game where Tiz gets to rebuild his little his village, and I highly recommend it. If you have online your 3DS, you get to every time you go to save, you get to update your Street Pass, and you get to the game picks up passive buyers on their Game Boys, and basically every day, as long as you keep updating your profile, as long as you keep updating your little friends listing, it'll automatically give you bots for friends, and it'll automatically keep adding villagers to your village. And then other players can send you monsters to fight that invade your village. And beating these monsters gives you cool-ass items that raise your stats. It's simple. It's effective. Also, every day, as long as you keep updating your profile, adding friends, you'll be able to summon these friends. So it's nice when you actually have online capabilities. And by the time you actually start utilizing your summon ability, you will have lots of people sending you their characters. You can also use your own character while you're in combat. There's a thing called send. So you click send, and then you do a series of moves, and that becomes your profile send. So let's say your friend comes over, and then you link Game Boys. Your character goes into his game, and then when they summon you, your character does that fucking awesome combination of moves you just did. You can basically help each other out, do it once a day. It's a fun little concept. It's nothing overpowered, but it adds to the game. It gives you an incentive to get your 3DS online. It's real nice. Real nice. Very simple. I like things like that. The game is online. The game's not online, but it's online features to help it, it build your single player experience. I like that. I've always enjoyed things like that. So, what's the final rating for this game? I love the game. I loved it at first, and I still do. The pacing was great. Everything about the game was fucking on point. It was that old school finesse with modern flair, and it just felt like such a tribute to what games used to be. But the pacing, after the first 25 hours, the pacing dies. Now, you can ignore the side quests. Why would you ignore the side quests? Why would you ignore all the free XP, the job points, the new jobs? And why would you ignore all that free gear? So it's kind of hard to ignore but the side quests are just repetitive boss fights that you're beating over and over and over. It's annoying. And then when you go into different dimensions, your characters interact with each other and the environment. Sometimes they'll mention that they're in a different environment. Sometimes they'll mention, oh my god, like, what are we doing here? This is fucked up. But there's never enough to make you feel like the characters are really, like, annoyed. There's never enough to make you feel like the characters are upset. There's never enough to make you feel like the characters are actually even acknowledging the fact that they've done this over and over and over. So that really is going to hinder the game's score from it. Like, that was really a fucking, like, punch in the face to me. Like, I was like, yo, this game could have been done. It was just drawn out for no fucking reason. So, with that said, I believe it's my first Game Boy game review after, like 6 years of YouTube, but I'm going to give the game a solid fucking 8. A solid 8. The pacing brung the fucking points down twice. That's how annoying the pacing was. Other reviews will mention the pacing too. A lot of reviews said the game's phenomenal. Then you get halfway through, the pacing just like says no. And I can't believe that decision. I don't know how that got past the fucking, the testing. Like, the people testing the game not just say, yo, why are we doing the same shit over and over? But whatever. 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching my video. Catch you guys next video. Lots of games to play. I gotta play Castlevania. I gotta play my Thief, and then I have to get South Park because it just came out, and I gotta get fucking Titanfall, and then Dark Souls 2 comes out soon. It's fucking great. So yeah, catch you guys next video, and deuces.